Today's adventure, which is partially one of the main reasons why we have come to Colorado. I don't know if you can read the sign behind me. We've come here today so that we can see the locations and talk about Chris Watts, a case we've talked about several times before. We're going to start our adventure out today in Frederick, Colorado. This area here actually does not appear to be open to the public. See the construction vehicles. Looks like a new area they are building to let everyone know they're entering Frederick, Colorado. I have done a couple of videos on the Chris Watts topic. Basically, I flew all the way out here to Colorado from Alabama to talk about the Chris Watts story, but to talk about it in the actual places that it happened. This looks like this is a new byway or a new way to get into the town of Frederick. Very cool. If you look over here on the ground in the median there, they even have Frederick engraved in the concrete as you're heading in to the town. On one side of the road you are in Frederick, Colorado, and on the other side of the road you're in the town of Dacono. And if you don't recall, Officer Coonrod, the first officer on the scene, was actually from the Dacono Police Department, not Frederick. He was helping out Frederick that day.
Yeah, but I'm going to wait because I'm Dacono, so I'm just covering Frederick. Okay. So we're going to let Frederick come in first, and then I'll follow in.
Okay. Before we get started, we know that the night before Shanann came home, Chris Watts went out to eat with his mistress. They ate at a restaurant called the Lazy Dog, which is right here. We're actually fixing to go in and eat in there ourselves.
And this past Saturday, we went to, what's the name of that bar that we used to go to? It's not the same, the Lazy Dog, but it's the one off of 144th and I-25.
He used his debit card instead of Anadarko gift cards. He didn't have any left. He used that as an excuse to say he knew that Shanann knew something was up because he had used the debit card. Now we're gonna go inside and see what they have to offer. We'll get us a little grub. This is gonna be our first stop for the day. The Lazy Dog that Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger ate dinner at the night before Shanann's death. The Lazy Dog Sports Bar and Grill. This is what we're working with here. I got a plate of wings, buffalo sauce, and Amy got short rib nachos. They don't have any sweet tea here, which is thumbs down for you. Before we segue into the next portion of this video, I am going to put this out there first, okay? I am gonna go by Chris Watts' house on Saratoga Trail, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like now. We can look and see if the neighbors are still there, those type things. In fact, I'm not far from it. I'm just right around the corner. The problem is when something like this that's really bad happens, not only does it affect them, but it affects everybody around them. I'm sure that the neighbors have been putting up with people, news crews and all that coming through and disturbing them and interrupting them since it happened. So with that being said, I am not going to be one of those people. I'm going to go, I'm going to get footage. I'm not going to stay very long. I'm not going to be walking around the house. I am going to ride by and I'll probably get out of my car, get some video footage from out in front, and that's going to be it. And I'm going to leave the neighbors alone and let them be in peace. All right, we'll head over there and see what we can see. We are actually driving the same route that Chris Watts would have driven home from work. And can you imagine when Officer Coonrod calls Chris Watts and they're at his house, he would have been coming this way, probably panicking and freaking out, coming down the same road. The day that it all happened, when Chris was coming in, he would have been coming in from this way to his house. Which, coincidentally, is right there. That's it right there. There it is. And if you believe Chris, he pulled up his truck over here all the way on the left, loaded the girls up alive, and left with them. Then of course over here to this side, this is Nate's house, with his truck still there. It's still the same truck that you can see in the security camera footage. People have also left little tokens for the girls on the front steps there. That's it. The Watts home. I think before sentencing was even completed on Chris, Shanann's family removed all of her personal items from the property, but you can see Chris's family have now removed his personal items from the property, and the house just looks so empty. It's actually pretty sad.
A source tells us saw Shanann's father, Frank, moving things out of this home. We can also say that there were police there. There was a police presence, looked like a deputy, not sure what agency.
Right there, that's the backside of the Watts home, where Officer Coonrod was up on that back porch banging on the door.
I've got to have more unless I get consent from him to go in. You've got your Fourth Amendment rights to the house. Yep. I can't violate that.
Yep. Right now we're driving up I-76. This would have been the way Chris Watts drove to work every day. This is the interstate going over our head.
But why do we have to go through? Is that a cow gate?
Yeah.
Cattle gate?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see here the sign here for the Survey Cattle Company, which undoubtedly that's why the site was called Survey 319. That morning, after leaving the house, Chris Watts drove the 45-minute drive out to one of Anadarko's oil fields, the Survey Cattle Ranch. And in fact, I'm actually standing right outside the gate from Survey 319 right now. You cannot get into the field, but if you look, you see there's some oil tanks here, and then back over here to this side, that is Survey 319. Right there. Now, in Chris Watts' newest interview, Chris says that he actually smothered the girls right here on this property. Some people believe him, some people don't. I'm not here to debate it, I'm just saying that's what he said. So if you believe him, then Cece and Bella passed away right there. It is absolutely heartbreaking to know that those two sweet little girls, their lives ended maybe 150, 200 yards from right here where I'm standing, right there. All right, since we can't get in here, I want to see that battery. Well, that's where the Mavic Pro comes in handy. I am gonna launch the Mavic Pro and I'm gonna send it over there to Survey 319 and we will get an up close look at that oil battery. One of these oil batteries so we can see how big the hatch is. And I'm not going to open it, but that's it right there. That's all the hatch is. Now I'm on private property, so I'm going to get back down. I just wanted to run up it right quick and show you that hatch on the top of it. Whether you believe Chris Watt's story or not, I had to get out of Survey Ranch, the oil field there. It was so emotional being there. One way or another, he either killed Cece and Bella there, or at the very least, he brought them there dead and dropped them in the tanks. Going by his story, he killed them right here. And it was so emotional being out here and seeing these spots. Even running up to climb up that tower real quick, it was just so emotional that I had to get out of there. I am now, though, going to go back into Frederick. We're going to go to the police station. After the first day had went by, on day 2, the search for Shanann, Bella, and Cece, Chris Watts, he left over to Denver to the airport to pick up his dad, and then he turned around and came right back to the Frederick Police Department, which we all know that day he confessed to, at that point, killing Shanann, and Shanann killed the kids, which turned out to not be true. Right here behind me, that's the Frederick Police Department. Inside of this building right here is where Chris Watts was interrogated by CBI agents Graham, Coder, and Tammy. It was right inside of that building right there. There's also body camera footage where after he confessed, they were taking Ronnie Watts out of a back door, and you can see him coming out and into this parking lot where I am currently sitting.
Go ahead. I'll follow.
In that shot, you can see Shanann's white Lexus parked right around the corner here as Ronnie's coming out the door, and they're walking this way, about right there where that white Toyota is. And in fact, you can actually still see this white SUV here parked right beside Shanann's Lexus. So obviously it belongs to somebody that still works here. It's pretty much in the same place, and you can see where Chris parked the Lexus right beside it.
No, not too bad. We're just going to take you right down to Del Camino. There's a whole bunch of cheese stores. This is Officer James. He's going to give you a ride.
Oh, hi.
Wherever you want to go,
What's
he'll
your name?
take you.
Ronnie.
There's also, later that night, when they are taking Chris out and over to the Weld County Jail, they leave from that door right there. That officer would have pulled out of this door right here, heading out this way.
Let's walk out this way. Go straight. Go out that door to your left. Have a seat.
And we do know when they left from here that evening with Chris for the final time, he was taken to Greeley, Colorado, to the Weld County Jail, where he stayed until his trial was over. You can see it all go down, all on the body camera footage from right in there. Right behind the police station, they have this cool statue here that's been cut out of a tree. It's an elephant with a few other friends attached to him here. This has absolutely nothing to do with the Chris Watts case or any of that. But right down the street from the police station, it's this really cool building. It is their old city hall and now their museum. I couldn't help it. The Explorer in me had to stop. Check this out. It's their old city hall building. Frederick is an old mining town. All this was dedicated to the miners. There's a wall over here of miners who lost their lives here. Miners Memorial. Frederick, this is a very beautiful town, and it's such a shame that the attention that he brought to this town is the negative attention that it doesn't deserve. Right now, I am sitting on a park bench in a place called Majestic View Park in Arvada, Colorado. This is our last location of the day, and if you are familiar with the Discovery, you will know that right here, this is where Nicole Kessinger met with a detective from the Frederick Police Department for her very first interview with the detectives.
So, whatever you feel comfortable talking about.
So, I met Chris at work. He's not like one of my direct co-workers. He just like works kind of in passing in the same office building as me.
She called, told them she was having an affair with Chris Watts, and they met right here so she could tell them about it. What's interesting to know, you wonder why they met right here. If you look behind me, you see there's a row of houses. There's a street there. Well, you probably figured it out by now. The opposite side of these houses is 63rd Avenue. She met him here because this is what she knew. It's no wonder why they call it Majestic View Park. You really do get a great view from here, even of the snow-capped Rocky Mountains up there. That is it. We had a full day of traveling all around this area, checking out the Lazy Dog where they had their last meal together, seeing the Watts house, We drove all the way out to Survey 319. We went to the Frederick Police Department, and now we are here at Majestic View Park. It's been an awesome day of traveling. So I'm going to end this video now. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow. I hope all of you have a great day, and God bless Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico.